How old are you to remember this item? Well, if you know what this is, you've reached Unk status, and you may need to move to a retirement home soon. I'm just kidding. Good evening, people of Tevat. Did Loma kiss you a good night's sleep? I bring you 10 more forgotten, removed, and discontinued things in Genshin that newer players will most likely to never experience again. The last video brought up many comments with features that do not exist anymore, or were simply forgotten. I therefore renamed this series to things rather than features. So grab your dango milk and enjoy the list.
Let's begin.
Fate points. During Genshin's Impact first release, people of Tevat never had the luxury of having fate points. Back then, they never existed, and therefore you'd most likely ended up with Wolf's Gravestone forever. Yeah, thank Archons that feature was added in 2.0. However, in terms of Forgotten, and people keep complaining about Primogems count being too low, our luxury today doesn't compare anything to what people had to go through during first release up to 4.8. No fate points, and later on, requiring 2 fate points in order to grant you that golden shining ball of dopamine. Phew, I'm glad that was removed and quickly forgotten. Now imagine a feature that only lasted 1 patch. Crazy, right? Must be something everyone disliked. During Genshin's first release, and when everyone were just babies with their physical official, Expedition used to lock your characters from appearing in your party. Dang, no wonder it was quickly removed. Otherwise, our party would look like this. Maybe this was the reason Traveler-only gameplay came to exist? Some poor soul sent his first characters and suddenly he was stuck with the Traveler for 20 hours. So whenever you got $10 from your grandma on your first successful exam and immediately thought, you know what, Battle Pass in Genshin looks very attractive, you'd be met with this type of mission. Collect 100 materials. Oh, and those have to be specialties. Yeah. People used to run around collecting materials and their inventories will eventually look like this. Crazy preparation for Dahlia for him to arrive 5 years later. Oh, and these missions existed too and they lasted for like 4 patches or something. Genshin veterans. Yes, you with crane sticks. Remember the co-op domains and how you were rewarded back then? Let me bring that memory back. When you completed a domain, specifically an artifact domain, suddenly, the rewards will fall on the ground, like sack of unshed tears after losing to Chi-Chi. Yeah, the reward system was different back then. Your precious loot on the floor. And suddenly, Master Jean will slap your booty out of the domain, and you'd lose your artifacts and yourself. People had to go through this for at least 2 patches. Dang. So be grateful your co-op buddy can't swing you out of the domain anymore. Do you guys still use your resin? Well, who doesn't? Though, would you like to use your precious resin during events? Well, people had to use their resin during 1.0 event called Unreconciled Stars. This event shop required these fading stars to be exchanged for materials. Look at these rewards. And this one official right here. If you wanted fading stars, then 20 or 40 resins for it. It was just like a leyline challenge back then, so be thankful that Hoyo haven't released events that require resins for certain rewards. And no, Stygian Onslaught doesn't count, since Resin Bloom there is just optional. Unless, yeah, you know what else is not forgettable? Your great support. Like and subscribe, because I'll never forget this favor. Now this may not class as a feature, but I'm sure it's forgotten and precious letter event back during the first release. So for you veterans again, remember when you logged into your account and suddenly you were met with this login screen? Yep, 7-day login streak which lasted only 2 patches. What happened to it? Well, nowadays we have to use HoYoLab login streak instead of the Seize the Day event. Man, people had it both good and bad during Genshin's first year. Okay, now we're back to our current modern day of Genshin. So hey, you know hangouts can be only accessed through story keys, and story quests through 1 key. Oh wait, that doesn't exist anymore. That's right, story keys do not matter anymore. If you want to access a story quest nowadays, you just click on it. The story quest always required a key ever since 1.0 update. Until 5 years later, poof, it's gone. No more, no less. I say no more usage of this key nowadays. It's rotting there. So what will happen to it? If hangouts are discontinued, what's this key for? Alright, what about forgotten features for weapons? Do they exist? They definitely do. PlayStation players were always granted this Sword of Descension. Back then, anyone could utilize this sword to the fullest, thanks to the no console restrictions. But for some reason, PlayStation straight up decided, or maybe it was Hoyo, that you know what, let's make this weapon only effective for PlayStation users and everyone else can bug off. I mean, take a look at this. How boring of them. It's like Xbox suddenly decided this glider is only equipable if you're on Xbox platform. Yeah, how rude of you, Sony. So you randomly took a stroll around Mondstadt and suddenly this popped up on your screen. A random event. Whoa, extra rewards? Remember those? Yeah, they still exist, but they never reappeared again in Fontaine, Natlan and Notecry. Why? Ask nobody. Random events serve as, yeah, just random events for you to do something in exchange for some rewards. Where are they in the newer maps? I kinda like these, you know? What about you? Did you find them likable or just waste of time? Comment below. Honorable mention goes to the most forgotten character in Genshin. Now if you said Mika or Xinyan, you'd be totally incorrect. What? I must be tickling your toes. Well, I might, so sleep well. The most forgotten character award goes to Aloy. Yeah, this woman right here. She never reappeared again after arriving in 2.2. What's her deal anyways, you might ask? Well, Hoyo decided to completely crap on this character no matter what. Wow, what a great collaboration between two games. I mean literally. No constellations, bad skills, performs worse than the worst DPSs in Genshin. I feel like Hoyo did this intentionally just to have fun. Even Amber beats her. How's that for your liking? So imagine if suddenly we saw Master Chief during a banner, just to underperform to a wolf boy. So how many of you have completed Razor's story quests? Many? Good, because you wouldn't access Andrews in any way other than co-op. Though, how many of you use this? The hunting trap. How did that get into my inventory? Heck, how do I even use it? Well, you simply place it down, and then scare a boar into it, and then you will be rewarded with meat. Yeah, a very ineffective way of doing it. It's so forgotten that even if it's still given today, people just forget about it after 1 minute. I got it, I have it, I'll use it later. 5 years later, it's still in my inventory. Well, that just boar traps life, I guess. If we could just easily forget about our past pains and suffering, just like we forgot this item, that would be great. Whoa, there are definitely more forgotten and removed things in Tevat. Now if you wish to leave a comment about things I haven't brought up yet, then feel free to write them down. And thanks to these comments from the last video that made me dive into these forgotten treasures. And I can see your dango milk is already empty. Thank you and thanks for watching.